Are you ready? Oh, I'm ready. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Are you ready?
Let's do this.
Let's do this thing, man.
The League Podcast.
Yeah.
How's it going, everybody? You got Dylan, Jay, and Tyler here with the League Podcast.
Oh,
Guys,
yeah.
what's up, dude? This is our first time doing a video chat together. It's
Not
freaking
bad.
awesome.
Nighttime session here. Late
Yeah, man.
night. We get it in. I love it.
Three
I'm
different
back too,
places.
by the way,
Yeah,
if anyone
Tyler's
cares.
Oh, yeah. We didn't really miss you, but I'm just kidding. We did miss you. We're excited to have you back. This
It's
is
not the
great.
same. It's not the same without.
No, you guys aren't. You guys are too nice to each other. Is the problem?
Well, you're just dumb
I'm
and
not-
you make us look good. That's the only reason I like you on here.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
It's
right.
nice. It's very nice.
And you're
You guys
also
are too
pretty
nice to
ugly,
each other.
so you make me look even better
Wow.
on camera.
Ooh, well, we're not on camera for the listeners, only
Yeah.
for each other. Hopefully, it doesn't sound. Hopefully, this doesn't sound bad. This is our first try with. We're in three separate places right now, so.
First time not in the same room. You know, soon we'll have the studio set up with the pro mics, but we're getting there. We need the
Yeah.
support to get there. So hopefully you follow us, you know, at the league, please, on Facebook and Instagram at theleague.podcast and on Twitter at theleaguepod. Give us a follow, give us a shout. We're giving you guys feedback. So what are we doing today, boys? What is it looking like?
Well,
I
Go
think
ahead.
we're just going to go through the matchup real quick with all these games and just kind of give like our advice for who we think's going to be good and who not to touch this week.
our likes
So,
are
yeah, we
dislikes, you know.
Yeah, but we're not going to go too deep into it. That'll be for tomorrow with like our deep sleepers and everything like that. But we'll just give you a quick summary of what we think these games are going to look like.
Yep. Broadline
Um,
it for everybody. Let's
and
do
hopefully-
this.
Well, let's
Hopefully
start
you
with
guys-
tomorrow's game. No?
Of
What do you
course,
wanna do?
Thursday night football. Rams 49ers. I think that's where we started all off. Dill, why don't you take the floor here?
Yeah, man. Well,
Yeah, Rams.
shut your mouth, Tyler. Well, as you all know, I'm a Rams fan, and it was a tough loss for us last week against the Redskins. I was there at the game, and actually, I was depressed. I don't want to talk about it. Anyways, we got the 49ers this week in San Francisco. Obviously, I'm going to be a little biased, and I'm going to say the Rams are going to whoop on that ass. I'm going to say it. You guys are going to disagree because that's
Well,
what you do.
No one cares about what the outcome of the game is.
And why is that?
We're here
Why
for
is that?
fantasy
Well,
advice.
I think everybody looking at a Thursday night game gets so excited, and then they see the Rams versus 49ers, and they go, "Oh, no, I'm just kidding." But seriously, how many guys in these offenses are really fantasy relevant besides
Todd
our
Gurley.
boy Todd Gurley?
Gurley and Watkins.
I think the two running backs are obvious, and then after them you have a Sammy Watkins and a Pierre Garcon, and after that,
What about Cooper Kupp? He's the leading receiver
Cooper
for the
Kupp?
Rams.
Yeah, I'd say-
he's going to produce.
he's a flex. He's a flex in my
Hey,
opinion.
I'll take it all day.
but-
That's fantasy relevant. You know,
It is. You're
the
right.
Rams defense, they're fantasy relevant.
Where are
had a
they
bad
playing?
week
Are they playing in San Fran?
In San Fran, yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, the 49ers
Yeah, I'd go
are
Rams
not good.
defense.
They're not good.
Rams defense
Yeah.
shit the bed last week, huh?
They did. They did. Well, the
Well,
40 I'm sorry,
now they're playing a joke.
yeah,
49ers are a joke, right? Like, can we all agree on this? Can we agree on one thing?
No,
We can
don't
agree that the Rams are a joke. We can agree that the 49ers are a joke, and we can agree that the Jets are a joke.
I have to disagree
Sorry.
with you. The Rams are definitely not a joke. You know, and they were definitely kind of a joke last year, but they're definitely not a joke this year. I mean, their defense is a top 10, top 5. I mean, that's debatable, but for sure a top 10 unit. And, I mean, their offense right now is in the top half of the league. So, I mean, they did better than the Cowboys did last week in offensively. So.
Still, I'm obviously messing.
I think
with
everybody
you, so
did better
calm
than
it
Dallas
down.
did. Dallas
Ouch.
looked real bad. But
They-
Denver looked really, really good at the same
Well,
point. So.
Denver they're looking mighty fine.
All right, well, we haven't gotten those teams, so everyone calm down a second.
Well,
Let me
there's
run
not
the
much to
show
talk
over here.
about versus Rams versus 49ers.
Well,
so,
I'm attempting to move on, but you guys aren't letting me.
No, we were trying
Can
to
I
move
move
on,
on yet?
and you were not letting us, Tyler.
Actually, Tyler, you haven't even let me talk about the game. I started
Well,
talking about it, and then you
'cause no one
interrupted me.
cares.
We talked about this, about interrupting each other, and you've already done a terrible job in interrupting everyone.
I haven't been on the podcast for a while. I don't know what's going on anymore. But you're
All right.
boring me with this Rams talk. That's all I know.
So Tyler is now being put on mute.
Good
All right, Dale, what do you got to say, man? Talk to
Well,
us.
like we talked about, Todd Gurley, I think he's a must-start every week now. I mean, he's heavily involved in the offense. Carlos Hyde, same thing. You know, the two running backs, like we all, I think, can agree on, they're both heavily involved in both offenses. They're both producing. They're both catching the ball out of the backfield, which is huge in PPR leagues, which is what we play and which is what we mostly talk about. Sammy Watkins, he hasn't done much with the Rams offense, but like Tyler said, I think this is his game. I think this is his breakout game. I think he scores a touchdown. I think he catches, 5+ passes for 75+ yards. So he's going to give you 16 to 20 points at the least is what I'm guessing. The 49ers defense, they looked all right against the Seahawks, but Seahawks, their offense has not looked good whatsoever.
Oh, my God, Jake. Jake, you're crazy over there, man.
Don't worry about me. I'm all ears over here.
Yeah, all we could do is hear you freaking smash into every wall in your house.
That was loud? Jeez Louise, sorry about that. Kids, It just happens when you start popping them out.
Dylan, I wanted to ask you about the rookie tight end for the Rams.
Gerald Everett. So
Everett.
I actually have him as my sleeper of the week. This guy actually leads the Rams in reception yards. He only has, what is it? I don't know how many catches he has, but he's averaging 33.5 yards per catch.
He looked good last week. That's why I was trying to. I have Greg Olson in a league, so I was just trying to sneak some advice on who to pick up because I'm gonna need someone.
I mean, Gerald Everett, he's just not getting enough opportunity, as we always say in fantasy, and that's so important. He's not getting enough looks, enough targets. He's not even on the field for that many plays. I mean, Tyler Higbee is a starter, and he is on the field majority of the time. But when Gerald Everett's in, he's making plays. He really is.
Yeah.
He's a sleeper. He's
I liked him.
Sleeper. I do too, man. I liked when they drafted him. He's kind of similar to Evan Ingram on the Giants. So
where he can't really block, but he's kind of like a receiver that's playing tight end.
Exactly, man. I mean, he runs a 4.4 40, so I mean, he's as fast as the receivers out there, and I mean, they should be utilizing him as a receiver. But one thing the Rams haven't had in a while is depth at receiver, which it's not like they have any star receivers. I mean, Sammy Watkins is debatable, but he hasn't shown anything. I mean, it's just the chemistry between Jared Goff and Sammy Watkins that's kind of hurting. I mean, it's not bad, but it's not that good. You look at the chemistry that Cooper Kupp and Jared Goff has. I mean, they got it. They've been working together a lot since he was drafted there. They worked out.
I'd say Cooper Kupp is a way better start in fantasy than Sammy Watkins at this point because you can see their chemistry.
If you listen to our podcast from the beginning, I've been saying that, and you guys ripped on me and laughed at me.
I still don't think that
It's
at the
hard
end
to
of the
believe
day,
in Rams.
Cooper Kupp's going to end as a better receiver
Fair
than
enough.
Sammy Watkins. I don't think so.
I mean, the last couple of years, the Rams have finished in literally probably last couple of years, last place in total offense. So I've never had faith in them. I mean, Todd Gurley obviously gave us some life. But anyways, let's move on. I mean, we keep talking about the Rams. I think Gurley's a good start. I think Watkins is a good start. And I think Cooper Kupp, like Jake said, good flex play. 49ers, I'm going to start Carlos Hyde every single week. He's getting a lot of volume. So other than that, I don't think there's much to start. If you need a defense, start the Rams defense. 49ers, they have Brian Hoyer, who's not terrible, but he's not that good. So
Turnover prone.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the only weapon they really have there is Pierre Garçon and Carlos Hyde. So you get those guys shut down, they're not doing anything. So that's my 2 cents on the Rams 49ers. Like you said, it's not too fantasy relevant for everyone. And most Thursday night games are scary. They're really scary to start anyone. At any moment, one team can go off and one team can suck, or vice versa. Or last week, as we saw in the Jaguars and Texans? Or who played last Thursday? Texans and
Cincinnati.
It was a pretty freaking boring game, and no one really produced much fantasy stats.
Well, if you had one of them punters on your team, you were killing it.
So, yeah, suck it, Tyler. Let's
All
move
right, so let's move on to. I know Jake wants to talk about this game. I am assuming it's going to be the Ravens versus Jags because I know he just had a good pickup for the Ravens. No, you don't have that pickup?
Yes, I do actually. Javarius
Oh,
Allen.
so what are you shaking your head at me for?
I wasn't sure. Well, I wasn't sure which one you were going with, which game you were going with. But yeah,
No,
Javarius
Ravens,
Allen,
Jags.
I'm very
Ravens,
psyched on. If you listen to the last podcast that Tyler wasn't able to be a part of, that was on one of our high waiver targets. Was Carson, Cohen, and Javarius Allen, Buck Allen. So I'm super thrilled that I got him. They did take a big hit at they lost Marshall Yanda, their 6-time Pro Bowl offensive lineman for the year. So that's going to take a big hit. I'm worried about that a bit, but I think Ravens definitely win this because too their defense is impeccable. I don't think Jaguars are able to move the ball on them, especially seeing what we saw out of Leonard Fournette. I thought he'd have a good game last week, but he got pretty shut down. I think Ravens continue to shut down Fournette.
It was the game flow. I mean, Fournette, I believe, only carried the ball like 14 or 15 times compared to 26 the first game. So he didn't get the volume because they fell behind, and that's the problem with the Jaguars. If their defense doesn't produce, then they're going to fall behind, and they're going to have to abandon the running game, which is their strength. You know, Leonard Fournette is a beast, but –
and you know what I did like out of Jaguars real quick is Allen Hurns. I think he's stepped up into, a big role. And if they do get down like that, they're going to be throwing it to Allen Hurns, in my opinion.
But that's the only time that he did step up is when they were in garbage time.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't do anything all game until the very last quarter.
But you look, 2 years ago, he was a 1,000-yard receiver. Or was it 3 years ago? I don't know. But he was a 1,000-yard receiver. So, I mean, he can do it.
He better be one this year.
He's their guy, and they're going to play from behind. So I have Ravens winning this game, though, versus the Jags.
Oh, of course. Their defense has looked phenomenal. I mean,
they might be the top defense in the league right now.
Oh, man, I know.
From what I've seen.
Yeah.
I mean, they look like Ray Lewis defense or something like that. I don't know. I'd start Fournette. I'd start Fournette. I'd start Allen Hurns. I'd start on the Ravens. It's kind of hard. I mean, I'd start Terrence West just because he's the best runner on that team. Sorry, we're all getting a little bit excited over here. I'm sorry.
But let's talk about something.
Getting distracted.
Terrence West, he has a soft tissue tear.
Yep. So this could open the door big time. I don't know if he's gonna miss playing time or not, but it even makes me happier. I woke up with that update like, yes. As much as that sucks, because obviously we don't want.
But I was also reading that it's a come on now. Who is that? Come on. Who's got the phone ringing in the back?
That was Jordan. Jordan's fault.
Come on, Jordan.
Damn it, Jordan. You made us cuss for the first time, too.
He always says the first time. We already did cuss every time.
So I'd say Buck Allen is a must start this week.
I agree.
I'm in a tough spot against you, Tyler, because my team is so stacked up. I don't know who to start over him. I want to start him so bad that I want to start him so bad, but I just have no one to sub him out for, except maybe Crowell. But Crowell's going up against Indy, who I don't know. I think if he's going to have a breakout week, Crowell's going to break out this week.
This is the week, man. Indiana's defense. I mean, Indianapolis. I mean, they're soft. They're soft. Their linebacking core is not good, and that's what hurts them so bad. And their D-line is not. So, I mean, their whole defense sucks, let's be honest. But
Hooker, baby.
Cardinals defense didn't do much, or Cardinals rushing game didn't do much last game.
That's what worries me. No one's blown them out of the water running the ball, so far. 2 weeks though. So I hope my boy Crowell's the one to finally do it.
Or a sneaky play this week is Duke Johnson.
Duke every week. I'm even shopping Crowell because I got Duke in the rafters. Like
Tyler.
Well, I was about to say right now, especially with this game or with the Browns and the Jaguars, I was going to say after they have bad weeks, I'd be trying to target Crowell and Leonard Fournette because I think this is the lowest value they're going to have all season long, especially Fournette. If you could get Fournette right now, I think you have an RB1 for the rest of the year.
Yeah,
and people are probably a little bit scared. yeah, this is the worst game he'll probably have. I mean, he'll have some bad games, but Jaguars are committed to the run.
Yeah.
It's obviously Tom Coughlin's offense that they're trying to run, and Tom Coughlin's offense is to run the ball. And I think Leonard Fournette is obviously the only guy there capable of doing it.
But the Jaguars
obviously
have a chance to fall behind. You know, that's the problem. That's the only thing that scares me. But
I don't think they'll fall behind too much this game. So I think Fournette will have a good game. If you could trade for Crowell or Fournette right now, I'd do it. I mean, obviously don't give up too much. But
it depends on what you're giving up. I mean, if you can buy low and give up not too much for them, then absolutely. But if they're asking for, you know, an Antonio Brown or something like that, then
no, don't even touch that. Yeah. All right. Well, let's move on.
You want to
move on?
I'll give you a Marlon Mack for Isaiah Crowell.
We're not talking about Marlon Mack yet. Well get there later.
No,
Dylan started Marlon Mack this week, so let's just throw that
over Dez Bryant. Over Dez Bryant. All right, let's move on. Dill, shut up. Let's move on. Let's move on to the Broncos-Bills. Dylan, put that finger away. Broncos-Bills. Who do you guys like in this game? Broncos versus Bills.
Bills are gonna whoop on their ass, dude.
Well, I'm talking about, you guys are thinking like I'm talking about the games. Like obviously I know who's gonna win that game, but I'm talking about fantasy players. Who's relevant in fantasy in these games?
Who I love, which Bills defense is not bad, but dude, Trevor Siemian has been lighting it up the last 2 weeks. 2 top 5 finishes. But I don't know if he continues this. I just wanted to mention him because he's a monster.
He's the number 2 quarterback.
He's been killing it, and he's in a nice offense. I really like them. CJ can run the ball, and then you got 2 great receivers right there too. I think Trevor Siemian has definitely proved to me to be a pretty top quarterback in my opinion.
Until he proves us wrong.
Bills is a tough D, so this will be a good test. Are they playing in Buffalo or in?
In Buffalo.
Yeah.
So that could be. I mean, obviously Broncos always have the advantage at the Mile High. So this could be.
I agree.
This could be. But obviously, LaShawn McCoy's a start every week if he's playing. I don't think I've seen enough out of any of the Bills receivers to start any of them. Maybe a Charles Clay, but he is targeting Zay Jones. He targeted Jordan Matthews,
not anything though.
But nothing is.
But
even,
he's not.
Nothing's there. So I only like LaShawn McCoy in that Bills offense.
I have a quick stat to read about the Bills. I didn't get to look up the stats for their Week 2 game, but I wanted to be on the podcast last week to say this stat. But the Bills in Week 1, take a guess how many targets they had to wide receivers
in Week 1 of this year. I'd say. I mean, I know Clay had like 9 targets in himself.
No, to wide receivers though.
Oh, just to wide receivers.
Yeah, no tight ends.
I would say less than 10.
It was 8, so that was a nice call. But that's unheard of. 8 targets to wide receivers in a game.
But I know in that game, LaShawn McCoy had like 25, 30 touches. So I know that he had the majority of the ball. So I can see that happening. But I think that's the type of offense they are at this point because they lost Sammy Watkins. They don't have a established receiver back there. The Bills' offense scares the crap out of me. Have they scored more than 10 points?
Jordan Matthews was supposed to be that guy. I mean, I wouldn't touch anyone on the Bills other than Charles Clay and Shady and maybe Tyrod Taylor just because he can get you those rushing yards that can get you points if you're in a league that benefits from rushing yards from a QB. But I wouldn't touch anyone else from the Bills all year long. I mean, maybe something could change. Broncos look for real. I mean, Simeon looks like a young Peyton Manning out there. Like, even his face does. See that guy's face?
Dude,
he looks like a skinny Peyton.
I don't know if you saw at the beginning. They mentioned that some of his teammates are saying that he reminds them of a mixture of A-Rod and Tom Brady. And I'm watching it before. Like, get out of here. Come on. Like, that's such a crazy prediction. And I'm watching him play, like, moving in the pocket, making crazy passes across his body. I was like, I was really, really impressed with him. I think he's someone that he's on waiver wire still. He's out there. Like, why not pick him up? Why not pick him up? I think that's someone. If you have the spot, get him. Put him on the roster.
Why not?
Especially if you have like Cam Newton or something, because who knows what's going to happen with like Cam the rest of the year, and who knows?
I'm trying to stay positive, but he's definitely on my list. That's why I'm talking about him. He's,
we're talking about offense. I mean, Broncos defense. They shut down the Cowboys offense, which is one of the best offenses in the league. They have one of the best running backs. They have one of the best receivers in Dez Bryant. They have one of the oldest and best tight ends in Jason Witten, old reliable. They have Dak Prescott, who's proven to be one of the best quarterbacks in the league. And he doesn't turn the ball over. He threw 2 interceptions. I mean,
so let's play back my tape from last week, Dylan. You doubted me when I promised you Denver would be getting picks for Dak Prescott.
Right.
You said, no, he won't. He won't. He's too good of a quarterback. He's too smart. He won't make those bad passes.
That's why I'm bringing this up because, I mean, we're talking about Tyrod Taylor. Tyler, come on, let's be real. If Dak Prescott can't do anything, you think Tyrod Taylor's going to do anything? No.
I never said that Broncos defense wasn't going to be good.
I never said that.
I figured everyone
start Tyrod Taylor. And that is false. That is completely false.
I said like every once in a while you might be able to start Tyrod Taylor is what I said. If you want to rewind the tape.
I would love to. Because
you rewind the tape over there.
I thought we were talking about this week. I wasn't looking towards the whole season.
No, and Tyler was talking about this week, but he's trying to follow it up with some excuse. He knows he's wrong.
So anywho, I think anybody on the Broncos, you're pretty comfortable starting on that offense at this point. I mean, even Trevor Siemian, obviously C.J. Anderson put up 30 points last week. You got 2 very good receivers over there too. I like it. I like everything about their offense and defense right now. Broncos are top 3 NFL team right now. They can be going to the ship, in my opinion.
All right, let's move on. Let's move on to the next one. Steelers versus Bears.
Well, that's an easy one.
I know. Bears, they looked all right the first week against the Saints, but the Saints, as we've seen, they're trash. And the Bears last week against the Buccaneers, they're trash. So I've come to the conclusion that the Bears are not good. They don't have any receivers. Jordan Howard's out now.
I have a question for you guys.
What's up?
When are they going to utilize their number 2 overall pick in the draft, Mitchell Trubisky? Is it going to happen? Is this something that – why are they holding out? We saw Deshaun Watson already go into the Texans. What's the holdout for? Matt Glennon threw, 2 interceptions last week? They had a horrible loss.
He looked pretty good week 1, but they're just waiting to see when they still have hope that maybe they could be good this year, which isn't going to happen. Once they realize they're not going to be good, they'll put in Trubisky, Mitchell.
So what are your bets? What are we thinking? Tyler, when do you think Trubisky's going to be getting into the fold here?
I'd say at least by week 5. I'd say at least by week 5.
I like that prediction. Dale, what do you think?
Well, like I was trying to say before I was cut off, like the 15 other times I've been cut off today. Mitch Trubisky looked freaking good in preseason. I mean, Mike Glennon looked really good too in preseason, but I think Mitch Trubisky looked like the better quarterback. And I was surprised that I guess I'm not surprised because they signed him to that big contract and they're paying him a lot of money. But, man, Mitch needs to get in there. I mean, if they get blown out again this week, he might even get put in this week, at the latest. If they don't – I mean, it comes down to if Mike Glennon plays like he did last weekend, they're going to be pretty quick on it because if not, John Fox is going to get fired. And
so are you thinking week 3, Dylan?
If Mike Glennon has the same week as last week, absolutely. If he plays like week 1, no. It's gonna be a crash and burn type of thing. It's gonna be, and I think it's gonna be in the middle of a game. I don't think it's gonna be 1 week. He's gonna be like, oh, we're switching starters. I think in the middle of the game, he's gonna switch in Mitch Trubisky. Mitch Trubisky's gonna get in there. I hated on the guy when they first drafted him, but after watching him in preseason, I think he's good. I think that they're dumb for not playing him. Obviously, they want to do the whole, let him, develop and stuff. But you think Mike Glennon's going to develop this guy? I think playing time's going to develop him. So,
well, all right. Well, I'll meet you guys in the middle. I'll say week 4 then, huh? 3, 4, 5. So, I like it though.
Right in that area. I agree.
Well, what's the bet then?
No bet. Just to run this tape back and say I told you so.
How about the bet is I get to throw? Oh, never mind. It's all right.
How about the bet is you can't shave your face for like a month?
Well, Dylan wouldn't care.
I know that's not
How
fair,
about
actually.
How about Dylan has to shave his face for a month?
With a razor?
After my wedding.
You're gonna-
No,
All right,
for
so-
your wedding, we have to shave a goatee for you and a cul-de-sac in your head if Dylan loses for the
I just
wedding.
Like some sideburns. Some gnarly
That-
sideburns. or
Chops
something.
all the way down.
I'd, oh, yeah, man. I'd be pretty badass.
All right, well, we'll get there when we get there. But anyways, Tyler's drawing doodles over here. So,
All right, so
Hey,
Steelers.
oh yeah,
We
we're on to
didn't
the
go
Steelers
to
game,
the
right?
Steelers.
Okay,
Yeah.
I mean Steelers versus Bears. Obviously, start your Steelers. I'm so glad to see Martavis Bryant back in the mix here. You know what a game he put out last week.
I just wanted
iffy.
to say,
It was all right.
hopefully not. I wanted to say, hopefully none of you guys sat Bryant after seeing him for 1 week. I mean, he hasn't played for a while now, and I mean, he had one bad game. He needed to have his little comeback game.
I don't think
Uh-huh.
that he's one of those guys that you can start on a weekly basis. I think he's really matchup prone. I mean,
I
Maybe
don't know.
not. He
I
reminds
think
me
he's a
of
start. I think he's a start weekly.
every week.
he
Every
reminds me
week.
of Devontae Adams, sort of, where it's like it's either he's going off or he's going to be basically nothing for you.
Yeah, I agree.
That's how I look at him.
I agree with you.
But
For one,
I'm not gonna I'm not gonna sit him and wait and see, because if you sit him every time, you're eventually gonna regret it. So I'd
That's
start
why.
Martavius Bryant
His
unless
big
you have
play
better
potential is too
options.
much.
But
Unless you're in my boat and you just can't even find somebody to plug in because your team's too stacked. So
or you think when you're 0-2, you can't say that.
I couldn't even play my keeper Odell Beckham, but I can't wait to unleash the beast here in a
Yeah,
sec.
if you would have
so.
played him, you would have still lost.
Not this week. What do you mean? He didn't play. What are you talking about?
This week,
Obviously, he played 30 snaps, Dylan. Of course he's not going to win. When he's full participant, then we can talk. Don't tell me I'm not going to win when he's
he did.
getting
You would've,
30
though. You just
snaps.
said if you didn't get to play your keeper.
I did it because he's injured. I wasn't saying I could play him and get 7 points and still win. We're going to mute Dylan for the next 30 minutes because he's
Jake
talking
thinks he's in
nonsense.
control and he can mute us whenever he wants. It's
Oh, I
like-
can.
I was
Oh, my God.
trying to.
I can mute it. You better
What?
watch
Yeah,
yourself, guys.
you
I'm
are in
gonna
control,
mute
but-
you real quick.
I was
Alright,
gonna
so-
raise my hand, but I didn't. I decided not to.
So is there anybody
alright.
on the Bears that you're loving though this
Tariq
week?
Cohen.
I'd probably start Cohen. I'd probably start Cohen.
Yeah, I like
I would.
That's
Jordan
it.
Howard's a tough case. I
he's-
don't know. I don't know if I would be trying to trade him away right now
I
or
would.
trade for him right now because you can trade for him for basically nothing at this point. People picked him in the first and second round, so he's not bad. It just seems like they're making their game plan so he's basically obsolete in the whole game plan. I don't know what's
But that's not
happening with
true.
that.
He
He's
was-
being
he got
phased
hurt
out.
last week. He
Well,
got hurt
I
last
understand
week.
that, but even week one, it seemed like he was phased out. I mean,
No,
they're
I mean,
not-
what they do is he was a top 10 running back in week 1.
you could buy him low right now. I mean, because I think you
Without
could
a
buy
doubt.
him low.
You can't
But
buy
I-
him low, but at the same time, no one's gonna sell him low because they picked him in the first round. Everyone's gonna be way too biased and be like, they're not gonna want to give him up for a half a bag of Skittles
I
because
wouldn't.
they
Well,
put too much on him. So you're holding on to him all
You
season,
got to ride
hoping
him.
that
Yeah,
you ride him
have
out.
to.
No one's gonna
If
give
you
him
have
up.
if you have Jordan Howard right now and someone's willing to give you something that's worthy of a first or second round pick, I would take it in a heartbeat right now. And if I didn't have Jordan Howard, I would offer something shit for him and see if someone bites on it.
If you have those
That's where
idiots-
I'm at with him.
We used to have a guy named Quinn in our league that, he was one of those guys that you could just throw out stuff like that and he'd be like, all right, I'll do it. But,
Exactly.
he left. So we don't have anyone like that anymore.
Well, I mean, people are listening to the podcast right now might have someone in that league like
Take
that.
advantage.
So that's what.
Jump on
yeah,
it.
I would try
on
to.
it.
I would
Jump
try
on
and see
it.
what happened.
Jump on it.
So
Yeah.
Well-
Sell high, buy low. That's what I would go for on that one. So let's. Do you have anything else?
No, I think obviously the Bears. That's about it. There's no receivers that I think are even worth it.
Maybe Zach Miller, the tight
Zach
end.
Miller, their
Maybe
tight
He's
Zach
end.
getting
Miller.
targets. So I mean, that's all you can ask for. And tight ends, there were 4, 5, 6 injured this week. So Zach Miller is definitely an option if one of your tight ends was hurt. Greg Olsen, Tyler Eifert, Jimmy Graham, Jordan Reed, Rob Gronkowski. I mean, some of them that aren't super serious, but you just never know. A lot of those injuries linger with those guys. They're all injury prone. So,
Yeah.
I mean, Zach Miller is definitely an option if a lot of tight ends are picked up in your league already.
So hold on.
Yeah.
While we're on this tight end subject, both you guys actually, Tyler dropped Kobe Fleener. Dylan, you're on Austin Hooper. I think you're probably going to want to switch that up pretty soon here. We have a couple options. Benjamin Watson. I know it's a little off subject, but we're on tight end. So we got some. Who are you guys going after? Please let me know. What are you guys talking here? Are you guys going tight end first, or what are you doing?
Jack Doyle.
I probably should go tight end first because I do have Austin Hooper, and he's going to be a boomer bust. He's going to have one good week, one bad week, one okay week. And I agree with Tyler. Jack Doyle is definitely on top of my list. It's Jack Doyle. I like Colby Fleener, who Tyler dropped, who's the number 3 fantasy tight end right now. Him and Drew Brees have a connection, and everyone says it's only because Willie Snead's out, and he's always produced when Willie Snead's out. But I don't think he's just going to stop throwing to Colby Fleener. I think when Willie Snead comes back, it gives them another element in their offense that's going to open up Colby Fleener in the middle of the field. And I think he continues to produce, and I think he's a top 10 tight end for the rest of the year. So, I mean, those are my 2 options, really.
I'd say Jack Doyle, and I'd say Jared Cook. I feel like Jared Cook is available in every single league I'm in. Yeah. And I don't know why. He's not bad. I mean, he drops passes, but
that's always been
he hasn't this year. So
I know he's looked good. I mean,
if I don't get Jack Doyle, hopefully Jared Cook's still there. That's who my second option would be in our league. Those are the people that are available.
But they're available in a lot of leagues.
They are.
Also, look out for what's his name?
Ben Watson.
Gary Barnidge.
Barnyard.
Has he been signed?
They think he's going to get signed. I don't know if he was signed yet. I haven't really been able
for the Texans, right?
Yeah, the Texans.
Gosh, do they need some tight end help over there? They got the high school player from Texas high school playing tight end for them.
They got linemen. They got linemen lining up at tight end because they have nobody else. They had one active tight end last game, I believe.
It was funny they show the pregame with tight end warm-ups, and there's one guy in the warm-ups. He's running everything by himself.
And they're never going to throw it to him because they can't afford another injury.
I know.
But I'd look out for Gary Barnidge. I'm not sure. I can't really look it up right now, but I'm not sure if he's available or if he's on the Texans right now. But he's someone that I've been keeping my eye on because Texans like to use their tight ends a lot.
Barnyard.
Gary Barnidge is a good player. I mean, when he was on the Browns.
Well, and he was on the Browns. That's all you need right there. If he gets in with a Deshaun Watson too or something like that, he's gonna get. Those rookie quarterbacks love their tight ends. So, no one brought up Benjamin Watson. What's the deal here? No one likes him.
No,
he's on a lot of waiver wires. I know him and Joe Flacco had a good have a good chemistry. At least he targets his tight ends a lot when they're out there. So
he had 8 catches for 90-something yards.
I love it.
So I mean, and Flacco, like Jake said, loves his tight ends. Last year, what was his tight end's name? Who caught a ton of passes?
Pitta.
Now, Dennis Pitta. He was 3rd, I think, in the league with targets and receptions last year. Joe Flacco goes to his tight ends, and Ben Watson has proved to be reliable with the Saints and Drew Brees. So, I mean, if you need a tight end, I mean, he's definitely an option. Like Tyler said, Jack Doyle. I like Colby Fleener, Benjamin Watson. Evan Ingram is one of those guys that I like what I saw out of him on Monday Night Football.
I agree. He
scares me though.
I was on the cusp of him. I still am a little scared of him, but he proved to be a decent catcher.
They're lining up on the outside, the inside, the backfield at fullback. That's when he scored. He was lined up as a fullback and came out of the backfield. So they're lining him up all over the field. We talked about Gerald Everett running a 4.440. Ingram, same thing, 4.440. Yep. He can play receiver. This guy is athletic and They're giving him the ball. They're feeding. He led the team in targets. Obviously Odell didn't play very much, but I mean that's a good sign. That's a good sign. And Eli does like his tight ends as well, especially in the red zone. So Ingram, he's interesting. He kind of scares me as well, but
I like him.
I do too. And if he proves again this week that he's gonna produce, then he's definitely gonna be a must pick up next week. I see it. I see it.
All right. So let's move on to the next game. Saints and Panthers.
Well, straight off the bat, Cam scares me with his injuries. That's for sure. I got Cam as my quarterback, but I think he's good, and I think he goes off this week, honestly. And this is his week to go off. I mean, I don't know if he's gonna or not, but we've seen how questionable that defense is. So I think him and Kelvin get it together, especially with Greg Olsen gone. Kelvin's gonna get that work in this week.
What about
Devin Funchess?
What about Devin Funchess?
Well, Devin Funchess has stayed in the target share. Like, he's getting a fair share of looks, without a doubt. It only is going to grow with Greg Olsen out. Like, it's
who's going to be the person that benefits from Greg Olsen being out?
I think
I was trying to figure out if it's Funchess or if it's got to be McCaffrey. If they got to play more of a short ball game and use more of a pass catching back with McCaffrey.
I don't think his
I was
role
trying to
changes
figure that out.
No? I mean, Devin
Maybe
Funchess played tight end. He played tight end in college, and his best work is in the middle of the field like a tight end. So they lined him up a lot in the slot last game and fed him in the middle of the field. What Greg Olsen excels at, and what Cam loves about Greg Olsen, is he gets to the middle of the field, gets open, and he loves throwing him the ball. So I really do think that Devin Funchess is a guy. I mean, he's available in a lot of leagues right now that if you have that roster spot and you need another receiver, take a chance on him. Why not? I mean,
if you're desperate for a receiver.
I think he had 11 or 12 points last game in PPR league, which is not bad for a flex, So.
But in all honesty, watching Cam play, watching his inaccuracy take place, like firsthand, man, they need to be more reliant on the run because, man, Cam is just not there yet. He just needs he needs a better team around him to help him out. So
pass blocking is not that good, and it's killing him, man.
Yeah, he's getting beat up, and
he is,
and he's coming off shoulder surgery. I mean, I do think Panthers win this game. I think they win a third in a row, and I really think that Cam comes out and does work. And I think Drew Brees and the Saints do the same thing. I think it's going to be a decent scoring game, honestly.
Well, I wouldn't touch any of the Saints running backs. That's for sure.
That's scary.
The thing about the Saints,
I like Kamara the best, honestly. I really do.
Yeah, but I still wouldn't. I wouldn't start any of them. I mean, pick up Kamara if he's still available. I doubt he's still available in everyone's leagues, but I wouldn't touch it.
No, I wouldn't ever. I wouldn't start him. I wouldn't start him either. I just think
if you're real desperate, maybe. That's still a maybe. I don't know.
Mike started Mark Ingram last week against me, put up 11 points. And
Mark Ingram's the back to own there, I think, until proven otherwise. I mean, Kamara, like we said, he's a good option, but Ingram's the starter right now. And so, I mean, but I really wouldn't mess with any of them either. If I had him, I wouldn't play him if I had other players. But some people, you don't have that option. Really, you drafted Mark Ingram to be either your running back 2 or your, running back 3/flex, whatever. So you got to do what you got to do. But there are some other players that should be able to replace him.
I think Panthers take this one away.
I do too. And Drew Brees actually has really struggled in Carolina. So I don't think that it's I think Panthers win. I think Panthers defense comes up out on top. I think Drew Brees might throw a touchdown or two, but I also think he's going to turn the ball over. And their offense does not look good, and I think it's their left tackle or someone on their offense line that's pretty solid is hurt or hold out or something.
Are you talking about the Saints?
Yeah, the Saints.
They have 2 offensive linemen out right now, so
the Panthers. Their D line is it's nasty, man.
Well, it all depends on Cam, honestly. Yeah, I mean,
it does.
Panthers aren't making it to the Super Bowl again if Cam can't be Cam,
Yeah.
And he hasn't looked like that. So we'll see what happens. Panthers are favored by 6 points in that game. So
I think
everyone else is agreeing with you that the Panthers are going to beat the Saints, but Cam
you
needs to look a lot better.
You brought up a really good point with Christian McCaffrey's touches, though. I think he's going to get an upstick in catches tremendously. I think he could score 20 points in this game, honestly, Christian McCaffrey.
I don't doubt it. But Jonathan Stewart's getting those carries in the red zone. So Christian McCaffrey isn't going to be one of those guys scoring points off of touchdowns. He's going to get a lot of receptions, which is PR, but
he could break any reception to the house. So I think with that potential and that skeptical Saints D, I think Christian McCaffrey has a big game. On top of, all the Kelvin Benjamin. I don't know if I start Devin Funchess, maybe in that desperate position, like you said, in a flex, but that's it.
I'll pick him up. I'll see what he's going to do, but I'm not going to start him. Maybe in like a 14-team league or something, but other than that, no.
Saints, besides any of their running backs, how do you guys feel about Michael Thomas? What's up with Michael Thomas? What's going on? I mean, this guy is
if he's going to be in the game, obviously you're going to start him because you drafted him probably in the first round, maybe early second round.
Without a doubt.
You don't really have a choice. I mean,
it's just there's
hopefully
no
he plays. Yeah,
they're
not.
knocking him down, man. Colby Fleener is their best bet, but I mean
you have to start. I mean, it's week 3. You're not gonna
give up on him
sit a first round pick on the bench.
I
was high on him.
He hasn't looked bad.
No.
They just
defenses are scheming around him. They don't have enough people. They know, okay, we got to cover lockdown Michael Thomas. They're putting their best player on him every single time.
I think he produced last week, though, decently. I mean, not at a high level, but, I mean, he gave you 14 points, which isn't terrible, but.
Well, I think that's
let's move on. We have 3 more games to cover before we can end this. So let's move on. Bucks Vikings.
Dill, why don't you take that one off with your team?
Okay, so Bucks Vikings. It all depends if Sam Bradford plays. He's still out, so it scares me. We saw what Case Keenum did. Stephon Diggs came way down. Kyle Rudolph came way down. Adam Thielen came way down. Even the rushing attack with Dalvin Cook, he still averaged over 5 yards a carry, but they had to abandon the run.
I think without Bradford, you could expect those results every single week. I mean, if Bradford's not playing, I think the only receivers you could play is probably Rudolph. But he's still not as good without Bradford, and probably Diggs. But I think D-line is a no-go, completely. I and I think Rudolph and Diggs, you're asking for a lot less.
It depends on
Bradford out.
It depends on who else you have.
That's scary.
Yeah.
With that quarterback play, it's unbelievable to me how from 1 week they can go from seriously looking like a playoff contending team to all of a sudden looking like the Vikings that we know, like, okay, they're not just writing them off. Where Sam Bradford, I didn't think was that valuable to that team until what I saw this last week, man. They looked horrible. Obviously, their defense is solid. I love the Vikings D, but they can't do anything without that offensive player that can make that defense take a step back because he can throw the ball and put it on such pinpoint accuracy, and then that opens the door for those running backs, Delvin Cook, just to go ham. So when you don't have Sam Bradford, they basically can stack the box and know that quarterback, who is it, Keenum, who's playing for him. Keenum, he's not doing nothing with it. So we know Tyler Hart's dick, so we're good there.
But anyways, with the Vikings defense, they got a top 10 unit, but if Case Keenum's at the realm, he's going to be turnover prone, and he's going to give him bad field position, so it's going to set them up for failure. So it's tough to start the Vikings defense as well when you have Case Keenum at quarterback.
Yeah.
Like I said, Dalvin Cook, he averaged over 5 yards a carry, and he actually had like a 25, 30-yard run overturned for a touchdown. And the fullback stole that touchdown. I think it was like a 1-yard touchdown or something like that. But it's scary to start anyone on that Vikings offense.
Without your boy Sammy behind there.
Exactly. And defense
especially, but that's what I was about to say is everyone with the Bucs look good. I mean, their running game looked good, their passing game looked good, their defense looked really good. I know they played a shit team last week, but the Bucks defense, I mean, everyone's been waiting for the Bucks defense to finally be good because they have the talent there. So I think this might be their year that they kind of got screwed with that whole bye week thing.
Yeah,
they
they're
lost
gonna
their
play,
bye week, but
they have to play quite a few weeks in a row. So they might get beat up a
yeah,
little
but,
bit. But
they're still good right now.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
I
everything
I'd
about
pick
their
the Bucks
team.
in this game. Especially if Bradford's out, I'd pick Bucks hands down. But even with Bradford in, I'd probably still pick the Bucks. I mean,
Where are they
had to
playing?
stop last week because they were winning 29-0 the entire game. So
That's amazing.
they could have won 100-0 if they kept trying. But they're just like, all right, like I feel bad, so we'll just stop now. We'll just stop trying.
I think
You know?
I think the Bucks, man, like you said, this is their year. Not their year. I don't think they're going to win it all, but this is their breakout year as a team to really get to the playoffs and make a statement and develop from there. You know, so
because you know that how the teams have to like get far and then have a heartbreak to finally become like a great team. I think that might be the Bucks. Yeah, exactly. I'd start Deshaun Jackson. I'd start Mike Evans. I don't know about Rodgers. If you have better option than Jacquizz Rodgers, maybe go with them. But if you're desperate for a running back, I wouldn't feel that sketched out about playing Rodgers. He's gonna get the touches.
Yeah, I liked him a lot more in the matchup last week, obviously, but I agree. He's getting the touches. He's somebody that if you need to, you can rely to start. You know,
if you have a better option, go with that. But if you have Rodgers, I wouldn't be too scared about it. I mean,
they're gonna feed him. They're gonna give him the ball.
They're committed to the running game.
What about their tight end situation, guys? Do you guys like O.J. Howard or do you like Cameron Brate more?
I was high on Brate. I drafted him actually, but I dropped him because of the week 1 game got canceled. But last week, I mean, it was kind of like a preseason game for them. They took a lot of their starters out in the second half. So
yeah, it's hard to tell with that.
But O.J. Howard got more snaps, so it's scary. I'm going to wait on it. I'm not going to play any of them because I wanted to pick up Brate again, just to have him on my roster because I thought he was going to go off. He had a decent stat line for not playing too many snaps. Like we talked about, I'm going to go with Colby Fleener, Jack Doyle, Benjamin Watson, one of those guys over Cameron Brate or Howard.
I don't like touching any rookie tight end because that's like the hardest position to start out in the NFL because you have to learn all the receiving routes and you have to learn all the blocking schemes. So
like
I mean, look at how good Hunter Henry looked last year, and that was just at the second half because he had to learn all that stuff. And I mean, name one tight end that came into the league and just wrecked it. You know, it doesn't happen.
Tony Gonzalez.
Tony
Gonzalez
in his rookie year.
Rookie year, he killed it. He was undoubtedly a monster.
Well, there's one.
But no, I know I agree completely. But and going into a Bucks offense where you already have a Cameron Brate, like I think Evan Ingram's situation's a little bit better because he's that number 1 tight end as a rookie, you know. But I completely agree about those young tight ends. It's hard to play. It's hard to even feel comfortable starting, you know.
I want to see what Howard can do first. All right, we're running out of time, so let's move on. We have 2 more to go. The most exciting game of the week. Browns versus Colts. Is there anyone you're playing in the entire world?
Marlon Mack.
So I think if you do have a must start, it's Isaiah Crowell. I think that this is the must start because you and myself spent a 3rd round pick, probably 3rd to 4th round pick on him. Mm-hmm. And you want to see your return. First 2 weeks, he did score 10 points first week, but second week, dud. But it's another one of those teams that I feel like is going to be playing from behind a lot of the time. So it doesn't work into Crowell's favor, and it's not his fault. You know, they're playing against the better offensive line, but I think against this Indianapolis team was just beaten up in every which way. Isaiah Crowell is a start this week in my
let me ask you guys a question.
And Duke Johnson.
We didn't get to really cover our waiver wire guys. What What about Rashad Higgins? What do you guys think about him?
That's a mean dude. That's a mean man, especially with this position coming into he's going to be – what's crazy, he got pulled up last week from the practice squad.
Saturday night.
Before the game, and he's instantly now with Corey Coleman getting hurt, going to be that number one receiver because Kenny Britt is not who he was last year, without a doubt. I mean, Kenny Britt is not – Rashard Higgins had 95 yards, I think it was.
Yeah.
11 targets and 95 yards. So, I mean, the guy is getting that work. They're playing from behind. He looked great. So
listen to this real quick. In preseason or training camp, OTAs, all that good stuff, Deshaun Kaiser wasn't the starter. So he was running with the 2s and 3s, which Higgins was part of that group. So they have this chemistry that nobody's talking about that I think sets Higgins apart from any of these other receivers. And I think that's why when he came in, it was such a easy transition for Kaiser with Higgins in there. And Higgins he's lining up in the slot. So he's getting a lot of those, short, intermediate passes. So he's going to get those receptions. And he's kind of like Cooper Kupp in the Rams offense. He may not produce tons of touchdowns, but he's going to get those yardage and he's going to get those receptions. So,
well, Corey Coleman's out now, though, so he's moving up, though. Like, he's not going to be able to play in that slot anymore. He's not going to be that.
He's actually going to be in the slot.
So who's gonna? Oh, well, we'll find out. You have Kenny Britt but he was an amazing college player too. They're both rookies, right? Deshaun Kaiser and 1 year pro. So they're both young, obviously, and like you said, chemistry's there.
Is his route running? He runs great routes, and that's what sets him apart. He gets open. That's the biggest thing,
Well, yeah. Well, we'll see what happens. I don't know if I'd touch any Brown. I mean, other than Crowell. Yeah. I agree with Jake on the Crowell thing. I don't know if I'd touch any this week to put in your starting lineup. Maybe to pick up and see what happens if you got room on your team. And
what about the Colts? With the Colts, what do you guys got?
Colts, I'd say start Frank Gore. I'd say start Jack Doyle, and maybe if you really want to start T.Y. Hilton and Dante Moncrief. I think at this
disappointed.
point, I think it's T.Y. Hilton. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe one of them might go off, but I'd say T.Y. Hilton and Dante Moncrief are at the same level right now.
I think that
of rankings, I don't think there's that much of a difference. So
that team is screwed without Andrew Luck behind the realm, man in the ship. They're screwed.
I'd say Jack Doyle is your best bet to start for the Colts throughout the whole team.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. He's the best receiver.
Well, let's
security blanket.
Let's move to the last one because we're really running out of time now. Dolphins versus Jets.
That's another boring game.
So I don't know.
Dolphins are going to dominate. I mean,
Dill was talking bad on my Ajayi last week. Didn't think he would do what he did, and he did what he did. Exactly what I said.
I just had hope in the Chargers defense, but I mean, Ajayi, he rushed for over 100 yards, but he only got you 14 fantasy points. I mean, it's nothing crazy. But he's an RB1. He's going to produce.
He looked good though at the beginning of the game.
I agree.
Who looked good though?
This week, I would say Dolphins are my number one ranked defense to start this week.
Yeah.
I like it.
I think Dolphins' defense is really good, and Jets' offense is a joke.
It's a joke, but you look at the Jets actually scored some points. So, I know it was against, of course, a skeptical D. We know that. But
who did they play last week again?
The Saints, didn't they?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
No.
Oh, no, the Raiders. The Raiders. Sorry. Yeah. The Raiders' defense is better than the Dolphins. Is it not? And the Raiders?
I don't know. That's hard to tell.
Yeah. Well, DBs-wise, I don't think the Dolphins is any better than the Raiders.
Is bad. Their DBs are pretty bad. I think that's their weak point of their team, right?
Yeah.
So they drafted Connolly. Is that his name? Connolly? Yeah. I don't think.
But he's not playing. He's not playing yet. Once they get him in.
He's lost a step.
Well, I just feel like I just couldn't believe what I saw to Curse, honestly. I mean, Jermaine Curse gets here 2 weeks ago, and he's scoring points like he's been there for years, and he's the staple of their offense.
He was a top fantasy performer. I mean, I think he's going to be a top waiver ad. I mean, I don't know. I'd pick him up.
Guys, he's the number 5 wide receiver going into week 3. He's the
That's
number
crazy.
5 wide receiver, Jermaine Kearse. I mean, come on, that's crazy. So I like the defense against the Jets, but at the same time, they're getting points scored, which kind of sucks as a defense because that takes away from it. But I think, obviously, Miami steamrolls this win. Jets win 0 games this year and have a first overall pick going into the next
And guess
draft.
who I'm completely done with that I was so high on at the beginning of the year? I'm so done with Bilal Powell.
I
I'm
would
so
be
done with
too.
him. He's there because they're obviously going for a youth movement out there, and obviously Forte isn't part of the youth movement. But now it's obvious that Bilal Powell isn't either. Like, he's just right at that outer cusp of not being involved in what they're trying to do. I mean, last week, I forgot his name, something McGuire.
I don't know.
Outsnapped him. Yeah, exactly. He's the third string running back. His last name's McGuire.
Mark McGuire's son.
Yeah, exactly. He outsnapped Bilal Powell by a healthy amount. I mean, I think Powell played in 25 snaps out of the entire game. I mean, I'm just done with him. I don't trust him.
That's tough, man. He's one of your top guys, you know?
You have Zeke and then him, and then you got Doug Martin on suspension. But like you said, with Doug Martin on your team, you got $3 in your lineup every week. You're betting on the Bucs, man.
Which,
well, I'm gonna be trying to get rid of Powell for someone decent. But I'm done with Powell. I don't trust. I mean,
well, you know what sucks?
I think you're just wasting your time with him all year, and it pisses me off because I drafted him in 2 out of 3 leagues.
Well, you know what happened is he had this help around him with Quincy Enunwa and, these Brandon Marshall was there, Eric Decker was there. These people were all there to be able to open him up. Now, with all those people gone and hurt, he's now everyone's like, okay, who else do we guard here? We got Matt Forte, but Leo Powell's lethal back there. They know when he's on the field, they know they got to guard him. So I think it works out to his total disadvantage for fantasy relevancy. And football in general, they're not playing towards Powell, like you're saying. So
I'm done with him.
So what do you?
That really sucks for me to say that I'm done with him, but I think I've seen enough.
I'm glad you moved on, man. Let's give him a hoorah.
Yeah.
Tyler,
I'm trying to move on before I get suckered into an all year thing with him. Trying to think this is the week. This is the week. This is the week. I mean, I've watched the games. It's not going to be his week ever. I don't think. Maybe he'll get one good game. I'm not sure, but someone else could deal with that. I'm not going to be the one. Yeah,
no. Definitely no. So are we cutting it off there? Is that it?
Yeah, I think we're over an hour, right?
Yeah, we are.
All right,
We're up there. We'll do the other. Was that 8 games, Ty?
That was 8, yeah.
So we'll finish up the other 8 games tomorrow. We'll post for you guys, and
we'll try to get through them a little bit faster so we could do some starts and sits of the week that we want, and we do have some mailbag questions from some fans that we have to get to tomorrow too. So we'll try to go a little bit faster and get your questions answered for you.
Exactly, guys. And honestly, send us your input. Send us what you guys want to hear. I mean, obviously, we're doing this for our followers. I mean, I listen to podcasts for answers, and I ask people for answers. I ask questions, and I don't get answered. So, please send us your input on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Twitter at The League Pod, Facebook and Instagram at TheLeague.podcast. Send us what you guys want to hear. I mean, we're obviously covering most of it, but if there's those certain matchups that you're not sure of, I mean, I got people texting me off the yin yang now. So send us your thoughts, guys.
Obviously, and we're I think obviously when this season's here now, so we're going to be posting probably 3 times a week. Tuesdays going into waiver wire, exactly what you need on Tuesday morning for all those waiver wire pickups. All the injuries, we're going to be up to date constantly. So be on the lookout, be listening, because we're here for you guys. So
and hopefully we found a solution to us being able to record together. Hopefully the sound's good enough for us to to post. We'll see how it goes.
And if
I think
not,
it'll be all right.
we'll find something better. We'll make sure it's perfect. So
Well, we'll just keep improving, guys. That's
right.
all. That is what it
Yes.
is. I mean, the more following we get, the more people you guys tell about us. I mean, that's how we're going to get up there, and we're going to start being able to provide you guys with more and better quality information.
well, good luck, guys.
Yeah,
and
like my information.
not Tyler's information, but we'll see you guys at our next podcast. Hopefully, this found you in a good time and you enjoyed. So thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate it.
It's always fun, guys. We'll see you later. All right.
Yes.
Have a good night.
What did I do? What did I do? The league, huh?